Here we are. I think it looks like we're live. Curtis, good morning.
You're live. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Episode 68, dude.
Nice.
Stacking them up. Like, this is it's great. It's cool.
Moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah, we were just talking a little bit before we went live. I just got back in from an awesome run. It was about 5 miles, just over 5 miles. And
nice.
Yeah, the air was clean. The sun was out. It was just a beautiful morning and feeling really good. And it was just a reminder that I really should be starting every single day with a run. And it's lame and dumb for me not to. Like, no matter what time I have to get up to do it, it's always worth it. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yep.
Really good, because I haven't been starting my after I stopped 75 hard a month or so ago. I just completely stopped exercising. And then I started running once a week, and now I'm starting to kick it back on. But what I haven't been doing is getting up at 5:30 and exercising first thing in the morning. And it's so good. It makes everything so much better when you do this stuff, guys. So
yes, I know.
I encourage you. Yeah. What's your opinion, Curtis?
I work about 4:30. I go to the gym 3 times a week, and then with other days I do yoga and stretching.
Yeah.
Just to recover. And I've been doing that probably for 5-6 years now. Same thing. And I've done different challenges. Well, I just finished off the 2,000 push-up challenge last week.
How did that? Talk to us about that, because you had asked me to take part in that. I was like, yeah, but then I didn't even do a single push-up. So what was that whole process like for you, beginning to end?
Well, actually, I was really surprised my wife joined us this time. So she got some muscles.
Awesome.
She's really happy about that, because normally she doesn't have any definition in her arms. She got a little definition, and she's decided to start lifting weights a little bit more at home.
Cool.
I have a set of weights here too, right? So she encouraged her to get a little bit more in shape. You know, it was really awesome.
What was what's the actual challenge? Like, what's the challenge?
Yeah, so actually the challenge is to raise money for mental health. And you can pick if you want the country, the location, or worldwide, right? There's different ways you can raise money.
For people who have like
mental health
obsession disorder.
No, just mental health. It's just like
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So anyway, what it is, it's an app. They have an app you download every day. Well, you can do like a workout thing. So like you can bank push-ups before it starts. So instead of doing like a couple hundred push-ups every day, if you do a week or two before, you can bank a bunch. So they recommend doing 40. They tell you how many to do each day to get you ready for it. So when time comes, you're ready to go, right?
Okay.
So
hold on. Let's just I'm trying to get to a point here. What is the challenge? What is the stated challenge? What do you got to do by when?
2,000. So we started on February 18th. So end of February, you got to get 2,000 push-ups done. So basically 2 weeks, 1,000 push-ups per week.
Okay.
And the app helps you get there. So you
helps you build up.
Yep. And then once you're in the challenge, the app tells you how many push-ups you should do a day. And then you just break it down. So say it's like 150, you can do 50 here, 50 at lunch, 50 before or after dinner, right? That type of thing. That's how we did it. And my wife was really surprised she was able to even do the push-ups that she did. So we had the max was like 197, and she did them in a day. And she's like, wow, I can't believe I did that many push-ups. So she's
probably sore the next day, right?
No, I showed her how to do stretching and stuff, so she was fine. Cool. She says so.
That's awesome, dude. So but this is interesting. The challenge was run by what app or what organization?
It is for, what's it called? Try to remember the name now. Let me a second. Let me look at my phone. It's I did it for a couple of years now. Shit.
Whatever. Tell me when you got it. Here's the point: is that.
Yeah, it's just push-up challenge. It's to raise money for mental health. Yep.
Okay, and so what's more important to you, raising money for mental health or doing the challenge? Like, which part of it? Like, why are you into it?
I like it for the push-up challenge, and then the raise money as a secondary thing for me.
And the app, does it encourage the people taking the challenge to post on social?
And to like put money. And I did that every day I could. And I put my stories, and I had the little tag that said, hey, donate here on my stories. So every day I did the push-ups. I put, hey, I did 200 push-ups today, or today's challenge, 200 push-ups. Hey, help me raise money. And then I would put that on my Instagram and Facebook page.
So the app is building a list of everybody who's taking part in the challenge.
That's right.
And everybody who's donating.
That's right.
I wonder what percentage of the donations go directly to a nonprofit.
I don't know. They don't. I
You
don't. I
don't.
don't have that.
Yeah,
thing
you
there.
don't
The
even
stats.
know,
No, the
right?
stats. I have no clue.
Think about that for a second.
Yep.
Maybe it's 50%. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's more. I don't know. But from a business model perspective, this is actually really cool.
Yep.
I haven't even looked at their app or their website. I don't even know what the name of the business is. But like, they're offering up a challenge that anybody with arms and willpower, and an able body can do. Did you donate money to the cause?
My wife did. She did like $20 or something.
Yeah. So you took part in the challenge, and she donated to the cause, and then they encourage all of you to push it out on social, and presumably it goes through your link, and so the app knows that you're referring people, essentially.
Yeah. You get your own referral links for raising money.
And so this push-up challenge, do they only have the push-up challenge once a year, or do they do other challenges that they promote to their user base?
That's the only one I've noticed. You can also do other exercises if you wish to. If you can't do push-ups, you sit-ups, burpees, or like squats. But it says pushupchallenge.ca is actually the website. And then I don't think they have anything else during the year that I know of. They've never promoted. I've never seen anything promoted other than this every year. So around February, they do it every year.
So. Do you see them monetizing their list?
No.
Okay. And it's a Canadian company, right?
Yep.
And you love it.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Curtis.
Yep.
This is what one calls an enormous entrepreneurial opportunity that's staring you right in the face.
Nice.
That you could act on should you so choose.
Yeah.
You need to start spotting these, dude. This is a company that's clearly building a big list.
Yeah.
And making money and doing good in the world and engaging. You would be called an affiliate. Like in our world, this would be an affiliate, right? Because you're out there promoting their thing, right?
Yeah.
But you're doing so selflessly, right? You're not making any money. You're just kind of being cool and taking part in the challenge. No big deal, right? But they're building a list of donators who care about this cause and who care about you.
Yeah.
And they're building a list of advocates, a social media army that they're not tapping into. So they have these two lists.
Yep.
The challenge, the people that take part in the challenge, and the people that donate. So what are some other things that a guy like you who would take part in a push-up challenge would like to do?
Like other challenges, you mean, or like part of the business?
Well, I'm asking you.
Well, I
start with other challenges, because that's where my head was at, but that's where you jumped to. So, so for example, what are other challenges that you know that you like to do, that you've spent time, effort, energy, and money on in the past?
Usually, like, you know how they have like email building, list building things. They have like the courses and stuff, like the 5-day things and stuff like that.
Okay, marketing challenges. Sure.
Yeah, basically, those are cool.
Okay.
I've done 75 hard. Obviously, I created my own.
But don't just jump over that. Okay, that's a big commitment and a physical, mental, fitness, weight loss, mental strengthening challenge. Like, and it's hard, right?
Yeah,
it's a big deal. Okay, what else?
Well, I did my own 500 push-up per month challenge for 1 month.
Yeah,
I created that. I did all the different things on how to motivate myself, how to figure out how to keep track, all that stuff, and then randomly doing. I'm pretty sure you remember me pulling over one day and doing the snow bank.
Yeah, I do.
Remember that? You're really surprised. You're like, what? It's like, whatever. The thing went off. I just did it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
I had no thought of like why or what it was, like any issues with it. I just said, hey, I got to do it. I'm going to do it. Right.
Here are some other examples that are in line with that are also more monetizable.
Right. What's that?
And you've been involved in some of them, but Spartan races,
Yep, I've done. Yep.
Tough Mudder races,
Yep.
other adventure challenge races where it costs several $100 or something, or maybe $50, you know, or maybe even a $20 foot race, you know, but like, it's a challenge.
Yep.
So what about training gear?
Oh, like shoes, whatever you might need. Yeah, for sure.
Clothing. What about think about home gym Spartan race training gear.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no end to the amount of crap you could buy.
There's tons.
Now, what about supplements?
Lots. Yeah, there's lots there too. Yeah, for sure.
So now this is all with a list that's not selling any of these things.
Right.
They're not selling their own, and they're not selling it for anyone else. So what if a guy like you went in and said, hey guys, I'm a huge fan.
Yep.
I've been on your list for a while, and I've noticed that, I mean, I don't know exactly what your business model is, but I see some big holes in your marketing that you could use it probably in order to make a lot more money if you're interested in talking about it.
Yep. Oh, introduce them to an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've already got the list. They're not selling anything, dude.
No.
They're just not putting the effort into it because they're thinking about something else.
Probably.
You know what I mean? They're growing their business in a different way. They're doing something totally different. They have their eye on something else. And so anyway, I thought it was cool when you said .ca because it's like an in for you. You know what I mean?
Canadian.
So okay, cool. Well, did you do your positive focus?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I think that was it right there about the challenges. And
the challenge. Cool.
Yep.
That was it. That was it. Awesome.
So.
Well, so anyway, we can jump ship from the challenges for a minute and talk about podcasts a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I was stoked. I was stoked to hear what you wrote this morning about getting some activity on finding guests.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I want to hear about that. And while I was out on my run, I was running solo this morning, and so I just had some time to think.
Yeah.
And I realized that there's kind of a concept that I've been meaning to teach you and everyone about doing interviews and doing shows and webinars and all this kind of stuff that I think might be really helpful to help you have an even better and more dynamic presence and connection when you're doing presenting. So let's start with you though, dude. Give me an update on what you did.
Yep.
And let's start with the result that you got, and then we'll go back to how you got the result.
Okay. So the result was I asked a couple people through a couple different groups I joined from last week for podcasting, and a lot of them were looking for people and said, hey, I'm doing this podcast. So what I did, I used like a little bio type thing from ChatGPT about hardworking dads and the stuff that I like to cover. And I had a couple people interested. And then this one lady said, yeah, I'll do it with you this Sunday at lunchtime. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. She lives in California, so it's 3 hour difference, but she said she's a little, and she's really cooperative to make it work. So that was even easier. And she's done quite a few podcasts on her own, and she has her own show. So it's kind of cool that worked out like that. So I don't know what else will become of it because that was just this week. And then next week I'll do the same thing, introduce myself to people and say, hey, how's it going? Would you be interested in coming on my show? And they say, yes. Okay, this is what I would cover. So I'm just doing like a stage, not like, hey, blasting people with blah, 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 the whole line of whatever. It's like, hey, are you interested in a podcast? What do you do? I check their profiles, see if it's something I'm interested in, because obviously you don't want like someone talking about guns when you want to talk about parenting, right?
Well, unless you do, unless you're into both.
Unless it's like, it could be
an interesting conversation, right? Like pro-gun parents, it
could be like gun safety when your kids are around type thing, how to lock up your weapons and whatever. Like that could be a thing too. But the parenting thing is quite interesting because a lot of people are parents, and there's different aspects of parenting that can be covered. So that's why I thought it was kind of neat that
I really like the parenting thing and the direct connection to work from home.
Yep.
Right? Like there's a very heartfelt connection there. It's like, well, I want to be a parent and here to raise my kid and not working full time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool, dude. That's cool. So, so you join. So, but like, let's get a little bit more clear on exactly what you did. So you joined roughly how many groups on Facebook?
5. I did 5 because I just find sometimes you get a bit overwhelmed if you do too many at once.
Totally.
So I did 5, and I just said, hey, they Some of them you had to fill out the questions, email, that sort of stuff. And other ones were just like you click a button, you're in. So some of the public ones are easy.
Right.
The private ones take a little bit of work. But the private one I found, that's how I found this lady, and it was more personal, I guess. More people are more open to allow you to talk about what you're doing. The public one sometimes is like spam-a-ram, ding dong, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Everybody's putting their links everywhere.
Right.
Like, oh my God. And it's very hard to follow because there's like so many people, right?
Right.
But the private ones I found, there's like a few people here and there. Like I check profiles. Okay, they're a parent. They do this. They do that. Some qualifications that I was thinking. And I just said, hey, listen, I see that you do podcasting. I'm looking for guests too. Would you like to be my guest or vice versa? And someone says, yeah, sure. I'd like to be on your show, or come on my show. And then I tell them what I do. And then some say, yeah, it's not what we're covering. It's like, well, I'm pretty open to doing other things too, right? Just to get my stuff out there. So I think it was a fun experiment, and the result was good. And then I'm thinking I'm gonna keep on doing it for next week too. So I'll go back through the couple of the 5 I went through, and then go back through some more people in the list, and then do the same thing again. Say, hey, can I be a guest, or do you want to be a guest on my show? I do a show on hardworking parents for side hustles, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because whatever your topic is, it's going to be right for some people and not right for other people, right? Yep. For example, get shit done is not right for a whole bunch of people because it's too crass.
Yeah.
If someone's not willing to like say shit on a live stream, and if that makes them feel uncomfortable, this isn't the right show for them.
No.
Probably. And I'm probably not the right guest for them. I'm not like swearing all the time or something, but at the same time, there are several groups, I guess, branches of fundamentalist Christians who are very against hypnosis.
Yep.
Right. And I'll just leave it at that. And so, they're not going to want me on their show to talk about hypnosis if it's a fundamentalist Christian audience. Mm-hmm. It's not the right match. It's not personal. It's just not the right connection, right?
Yep.
And so that's great, Curtis. Did you lead with mostly you asking for people to be on your show, or you volunteering to be on other people's show that were looking for guests?
I did both. I asked, like, hey, I have my own podcast. I'm interested in joining other podcasts. Would you be interested in being a guest on my show, or can I be a guest on your show? So I left it so it's both. So I invited myself to their show and them to my show. Type of invite.
Yeah, but again, it's early stages, but what's worked the best for so far? Leading with, I have a podcast and I'm looking for guests, or leading with, I would love to be a guest on your podcast since you're looking for guests?
Usually say, hi, how you doing? I see you do podcasts. How's it going? So I lead in. So I say hello, and I'd say a podcast, and say, yes, I also do a podcast. Would you be interested in becoming a guest on my show? And they say, what do you do? And they look into it. It's like, oh, maybe you can be in my show too. So it kind of like feeds off each other. But I usually try to invite them to my show first. And if they're interested, then they come on mine. And then I'm sure reciprocally, I will go on their show too, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. So this is part of what I wanted to share with you. It's part of the dynamic. It's like what we're talking about right now is approaching it a little bit differently, but it's it's about the polarity between you and your guest,
right? Or
the polarity between you as the guest and the host.
Yeah.
So really, what I was thinking about is, are you the person who asks questions, or are you the person who answers questions? And so if you're the person who asks questions, look, for most people, not for everyone, but for most people who want to broadcast on a regular basis, it feels a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, a lot more engaging to have a conversation and to connect with somebody else than it does to just monologue. Like, we're on episode 68. Can you imagine if I was doing an hour-long episode every single day monologue?
Like, it'd be kind of boring.
It's intense, right? I mean, I've been thinking about doing a daily hypnosis session that way, actually, but it would be a very different show, right? It would be a very different experience. And so the conversation and the interaction is really good. I know that I tend to like have a fairly dominant personality. Like I tend to do a lot of the talking. I tend to initiate things. Right, all this kind of stuff, and that's okay. I can sit back and answer questions instead of running the show, though, as well. And I've practiced both.
Right on.
But they're very different roles.
Yep.
And so when like what we're doing here, we have these roles, but we haven't fully defined what your role is and what my role is, and we're trying to figure that out as we go.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And so the person that asks questions often is the host.
Yep.
And you want to ask interesting, intriguing, curious questions that will cause a sense of wonder and curiosity in the audience.
Yep.
And hopefully get some good, interesting, emotionally engaging content coming out of your guest, right?
Yeah, sure.
You want to ask an interesting question that's going to get a good story, right? And so, and in their case, they're answering the question.
Yep.
And so their job is to now essentially tell a good story.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Whether it's educational or whether it's, well, let me tell you about the time that, this happened. And so then it's more storytelling, but there's a difference, like energetically almost, between being the asker, between being the person that asks the questions and that is showing up, like thinking about the questions you want to ask, or being the person that's showing up, providing rich, valuable, connected, interesting, engaging content.
Yeah.
But as a broadcaster, whether it's you and me, or whether it's you and a co-host, or whether it's you and a special guest, or whether you're the special guest and they're the host, it's important that you know, or that you quickly find your role going into that conversation to create a dynamic video.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you want to be the person that asks questions, write down some really fucking cool questions that you think are going to like catch them off guard a little bit, or, like get them to think about things a little bit differently. Or, maybe that if you expect them to ask you questions,
be ready. Yeah.
Be ready, or even give them questions to ask you if you need to.
Right.
And of course you can have these guided by AI or brainstormed with AI and tweaked, but really important that you kind of choose a role going in when there's a split screen interview where there's a dynamic, having each person more or less clear on what they're and you can change it up or whatever. It doesn't have to be set in stone, right?
Right.
But it makes a huge difference.
Okay.
And it's kind of like when you're looking to network with other podcasters.
Yep.
Are you responding to their call for help for guests? Are you there? And then you're going to jump on when they're asking for help, or are you asking for help? I would suggest, Curtis,
what's that?
That you will get more juice out of volunteering to be on someone's podcast when they ask for guests, and really giving an awesome response and pitch in your reply. Because these people do these posts in these groups. The ones I'm in, they do posts in groups where they're like, I have a podcast about blah, 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 and I'm looking for guests. Is anybody interested? Right. And or there's this one group that's very active that's run by this guy named Mo, and Mo will write, okay, be a guest, find a guest, who wants guests for their podcast, comment below, sound off. And he does that every day. And there's like between 60 and 250 comments every day from people like making noise.
Yeah.
But if you like, what I've found is that both the posts that people make and the comments that people make are mostly amateur hour. It's completely general, vague. It's making it difficult for both parties to figure out whether or not you want to even be interviewed, because nobody's saying what the hell they're even talking about.
Okay.
So like if somebody's like, I'm looking for guests on my podcast, you respond by saying, hey, I'm Curtis. I have a parenting podcast. I like talking about parenting and helping parents find side hustles and work from home. So if you want to talk about the struggle of parenting, I'm your guy.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
I also happen to be looking for guests, so there's an opportunity to appear on my show if it goes.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
talk about too, and just having a meaningful comment in there will easily outpace 95% of the crap, like thoughtless comments that people are making. But it's so interesting because there are all these people out there who have, to some degree or another, overcome their fear of public speaking or have decided to tackle it.
Absolutely.
And to, in this case, podcast or broadcast themselves. And there is a huge network of these people. And it's completely, it feels like it's underground to me, but it's right there.
Oh.
It's right in our face. And I just didn't get it. So Curtis, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the magic. Be a guest on as many podcasts as possible. That's your goal. That's your goal. Because every single one of them is an invitation to be on your podcast afterward. It's a reciprocal thing. Help them first and then ask for their help. Super simple. Easy. That doesn't mean never ask for help. That doesn't mean never ask for a guest.
Right.
But focus your attention on doing one of the things that you do best anyway, which is be helpful. Right?
Absolutely.
Focus your attention on helping them do an amazing episode.
Right on.
And maybe what you'll do is change it up. Actually think about this, dude. So you have all these people who are like, I need a guest on my podcast. And you're like, I'll be a guest, right? On your podcast. And then they're like, cool, thanks for being a guest. I'll ask you, I'll interview you. I'll ask you some questions about who you are and what you're up to. And I'll ask you some questions about parenting. And you're like, cool. Can I ask you some questions too?
Okay.
Yeah. I would love to know why you started this podcast. Why are you dedicated to this? Why are you building this audience? And then you can actually turn it on them. And ask them some questions, because they don't get to be asked these questions too often because they're running their podcast. So actually make them as a guest. One of the cool things that you can do is ask them some questions that are going to make them look really good in front of their audience. Right. So in the meantime, and this is for you and everyone else, if you're building your audience and you're starting from scratch, and maybe you're building a new audience starting from scratch. Maybe you're rebuilding an old business. Maybe you're building a new business, whatever, maybe you're just growing a business by getting more into this whole broadcasting, podcasting thing. One of the things that you can do is simply put up an early bird registration page, a pre-launch registration page. All right. So that you can gather names and emails from people who hear about you on all these podcasts. And then when you do your podcast, you can drive people there to opt in. And you don't have to give away anything. It can just be get on the list. And what you do is you send emails to the list when you do new episodes. And it's that simple to get started. So the more times you're a guest, the better you're going to get at speaking.
For sure.
The bigger your network's going to become. The more guests you're going to have for your podcast, the more people you're going to have to work with in the future. Do it every day if you can. I mean, as many days as possible.
For sure.
And there's endless opportunity to be guests on people's podcasts. There are way more people out there doing podcasts than you possibly have time to be guests on. And your goal is to just ramp up in terms of the bigger audiences. Over time, as you become a better speaker and you get your shit together more with your message, and it gets more dynamic and your audience grows, you'll by nature start working with bigger and bigger people. And as you become bigger, the bigger people will start noticing you as well, especially when you start becoming competition. Right.
For sure.
And so, so this is, it's interesting because I haven't really thought about it this way before, but it's tapping into this massive network of people who are building audiences and are looking for guests. They really are. And
Yeah.
so what I'm imagining for you, Curtis, is I'd like you to imagine what it would be like after you've been a guest on 1,000 people's podcasts.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Okay. And how good you would be at talking about a particular aspect of parenting.
Yep.
And getting a particular type of parent interested in getting on your list.
Yep.
In order to learn about X, Y, and Z. And it might be about parenting. It might be about side hustles. It might be, who knows? I don't know exactly what it's going to be about.
That's going to develop over time. Probably,
exact hook is going to be. But for now, it could be parent side hustles, just for argument's sake.
Yep.
And you get on a show and you just talk about, I've been doing side hustles for the last 7 years, and a couple of them have worked pretty good. A bunch of them have not worked that good, but I basically teach hardworking parents how to develop side hustles and work from home and be present with their kids and make more money than they could at their job. That's how I roll. And so, I'm Canadian. I'm married. I have a kid, and I was working a lot, and I wanted to break free from my job, and so I dedicated my life to building my online audience and building this podcast and building my following so I could do that and sharing with you guys how my journey is. I've gone through that process.
Yeah.
Right? Like, pretty easy. So you do that 1,000 times, and after you've done 1,000 podcast episodes and you've figured out your message and you've seen what people do and don't respond to and whatever, do you think you're going to have a webinar in you?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Over that period of time, 100%. It would be.
Well, I mean, you could certainly if you chose.
I think after 1,000 podcasts, I don't see why it would even be a second thought. It'd be like, I can totally do this because you're natural. Whatever you have, the messaging, all that would be all put together over that period of time. So it'd be like, I'm doing this webinar on this. Let's do it.
Right. So you plug in your content and your story and your framework and your offer into a webinar script that seems to be working, and you do a webinar and you sell your $1,000 parenting course.
Yep.
Right? Like, fine. So now you go from podcast speaker, where you've been slowly developing and growing your audience over time and your list over time and becoming a great speaker over time. And now at some point in that process, and that could be next week, by the way, you get your webinar going.
Yeah.
And now you have a live webinar, perhaps once a week, that you're consistently focused on improving.
Yep.
And that you invite your list to.
Right.
Every week.
Yep.
And you do a different hook for every week, and you're on the weekly webinar train, and you try different webinar scripts, you try different webinar processes, but you're and then finally you get one that kind of works, and then maybe you try running ads to it, and maybe that works and maybe it doesn't, right? But so that's basically the whole idea here, Curtis, is speak more, right? Be a guest on more podcasts, invite everyone that seems appropriate to be a guest on your podcast. And I would highly recommend that you start doing some kind of a live webinar on a schedule. Even if it's once a month to start, but I would go to once a week as soon as you can. I know you don't have tons of free time, but if you were able to do a once a week evening webinar, and I would like to remind you that because you weren't there at the time, but like back in the day, I was doing when I started, I was doing teleseminars, and for the love of God, I didn't know how to sell my own stuff. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the training. I didn't have the experience. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And I didn't have a framework that was for sale that I could purchase, that I was aware of at the right time, in the right place, whatever. And so eventually I started getting okay at it after I took Teleseminar Secrets with Alex Mandozian. But I wasn't like, I couldn't crush it selling on a teleseminar myself. And I even went and I learned how to speak publicly from stage. I went through some stage hypnosis or stage selling trainings, a few of them.
Okay.
And I did it several times, and I still never really crushed it on stage. Now, that doesn't mean I couldn't if I chose to,
Yep.
but I didn't really love speaking from stage. It didn't
Right.
give me much energy. It didn't make me feel very good.
Right.
I noticed the people that really did crush it, they were really in their element on stage,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they loved it. And I could take it or leave it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I prefer to leave it. And
Right.
so what I found was that I was selling from teleseminars, but when I started promoting a teleseminar to my list, when nobody else in the marketplace was doing teleseminars,
Yep.
but then we would sell somebody else's product at the end
Mhm.
through my affiliate link, I'd make tons of money. I would keep the list because it was my teleseminar,
Yep.
and then I did this with webinars later. It gave me something to promote to my list, and I could make both low ticket on the thank you page homework offer sales and high ticket on the back end of the webinar without selling any of my own products. And this allowed me to get better at pitching in a teleseminar format and practiced at it without being so emotionally attached to it, because it wasn't my own product or service. So my own self-worth or self-value wasn't really attached to whether or not they bought.
Okay. Yeah.
Or, and so it allowed me to practice that. So the point is, once you get your list cooking and building and growing, you have opportunities to do webinars to your list even before you really know what you're selling, especially if you're doing the side hustle thing. You can do, like, some of the podcasters that you work with will be smart marketers.
Yeah.
A lot of them, most of them won't be.
Right.
Not until you get to the higher levels.
Right.
But some of them will be, and some of them will have info products and sales letters and webinars and VSLs, and you can do cross promotions, and it's great. So podcasts are cool because they give you practice, like broadcasting and speaking, and it's not quite selling, kind of. It's like pitching an opt-in if you're lucky. Cool.
Yeah.
This is great. So do you have any so you have an interview today happening, is that right?
Noon.
Noon. Great. Is there anything you want to tell us about it?
It's a lady from California. She does parenting struggle. She's a single mom, and she has 2 kids. And I'll probably talk about that. I looked at her profile. She knows what she's doing. She's also a lawyer, so she probably knows lots of things, I'm sure.
Great.
So I'm looking forward to that. We've been interacting on Messenger, asking a couple questions, trying to make sure timing was good, all that stuff. I asked a couple subjects, and she said no, she's not interested. So then she said this is what she would like to talk about. It's okay, we'll do that.
Great.
So it's good.
Perfect.
I think it's be fine. We'll see
awesome,
how the first one goes. So
that's great. Good work.
Thanks.
Wherever you found her, like whatever group you found her in, after you're done with the episode, I encourage you to go and write a nice thank you post to her in the group. She'll be like, hey everyone, I just want to say I just did an awesome podcast with such and so that we met in this group, and she was amazing. She's a fantastic guest, completely had her act together, knew exactly what she wanted to talk about, was super articulate, and I think this is my best episode ever. So I just want to say big shout out. Thank you for being a great guest. And I would highly recommend working with her in the future, kind of a thing. Like,
promoter type thing.
And people will see you do that, and then they'll want to work with you. Because they know you're cool. Right. Like, so, So really, really good. Awesome, Curtis. That's momentum. And I'll tell you that I just did that one podcast episode with those guys. I totally got a bunch of get shit done subscribers from it, and it was really fun, and I love talking. So I'm really gonna be pushing hard on the podcast network for the rest of the year myself, and I'm glad to see that you're having some luck with it. That's sweet.
That's awesome. It's pretty good tips there from last week, for sure.
That's right. So you want to do a little commercial break?
Sure.
Where are we sending people today?
We are sending to hardworkingdadclub.com. There
Cool.
they can get their free blueprint on how side hustles work and affiliate marketing. So, and
Hardworking dad or dad?
just
Dad, singular.
dad, yep, single dad.
That's right. That's right.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, they get a blueprint of what side hustles are and how they work. So it's basically an introduction into it, and then they can join my group as well by the same name, Hardworking Parents Club on Facebook. You join that. That's going well as well. I got 64 people in that group now, so it's expanding. So I'd like to see more people in there. Get up to like 500 or something. That'd be
Dude,
my
I'm
goal.
telling you, private message every single one of them individually.
Yeah, I have been doing that. I said, welcome to the group. I'm glad you joined.
Connect
That sort
with
of
them.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
A few people, I got like a couple of probably 10 conversations on the go now on Messenger now. I was like, holy crap.
Yep. No, we'll
It
get
gets
ready
busy.
for it. Then it'll be 100, then it'll be 1,000. That's the downside. But like, better to have activity than no activity.
Yeah. I think probably the next step will be get a chat bot to help, perhaps. Just the initial, hey, thank you for joining, that sort of thing, so that it looks like, hey, there's someone there, and then I get notifications of, hey, thanks. This is Curtis live talking to you, not as chat bot.
Right.
So yeah,
Cool,
I think
man.
that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And so, in terms of upcoming this week, what are your goals or your mission critical action items? What are the big shit list items that you're going to get knocked out this week in order to move your business forward?
The big one will be continue with the podcast, searching for guests or being a guest on shows, like I said earlier. I'll continue with that. I want to continue to build my email list. That's kind of slow. My groups are building faster than my email list currently, which is fine. But I've added questions to my group, so that's going to help me as well. So I'll be able to get more emails.
Did you add software that collects email address on your question?
I just did it manually at the moment. I don't know what software to use for that.
Great. Do you have Go High Level?
Yes.
I think that Go High Level has a built-in tool, so you should Google that.
All right, I'll check it. So what
for that, there's a bunch of different softwares that are out there, but I'm pretty sure that Go High Level has one. So if you already have Go High Level, that could solve your problem.
Okay.
Number one. Number two is man. I mean, keep connecting with everybody in your group. However, I really would discourage you from being so general with your goals. Okay. So continue on, blah, blah, blah. Like there's no commitment there. There's no outcome there. There's nothing specific you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So like and I'm not saying this should be your goal, but if your goal is, you know what, I'm going to book myself with 7 guest podcast interviews this week. Now, I don't know when they're all going to be scheduled for, but I'm going to get 7 of them. I'm going to try to get myself scheduled in for 7 guest spots. See if I can get 7 people locked in on dates. Like where I'm a guest on their show.
Yep.
Like that would be, or whatever your number is.
Right.
You know, I'm making up the number 7. But like something like that would be killer. And if you're talking to someone and they seem like they're great, like you can invite them on the spot to be on your show too, even before you do the guest appearance. So you can schedule the follow-up if it seems like there's really good chemistry or something. Right. You know? But like, when you say that you're going to continue on with the podcast thing and the guest thing, like what is your goal between now and next Sunday? What do you actually want to accomplish?
Oh, I'm trying to get 2 more people either on my show or on their show within the next week by continue to message people within the 5 podcast groups that I have joined.
Great.
So I'm going to do that this week and message people, obviously participate in the group. That's what I do this week because I found that the result was very surprisingly for me and it worked well. Like it was like the first time that somebody's like, hey, this actually works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's an exciting moment, you know.
It's one of those things where it's actually like connecting with other humans and helping them. Yep. Like for real, without any BS. You know. So I would definitely keep on going down that path. Perfect. And in the meantime, certainly study more about speaking and being a dynamic speaker, being effective speaker. Keep doing something there. And I would also listen to podcasts and study who's out there talking about monetizing podcasts, how to grow and monetize your podcast, because podcasting is great, but like doing it and having it build an audience and having it make money is a totally different game. And most of the podcasters out there will do it for fun for their entire lives, but they'll never make any money. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just don't want to necessarily build your podcast after someone that's not making any dough.
Yep.
Right. Like in terms of how you're structuring the business behind it.
Yeah. I forget the girl's name. Kutcher. It's Kutcher. She's one of the ClickFunnels people, but she has I followed her on Facebook, and then I get all her stuff she does. And one thing was how to monetize a podcast. So I'm going to check that out.
Yeah. There are a lot of, at this point, there are a lot of people that teach it.
Yeah. It's like some free stuff, free course or whatever you can take. And then obviously there's different selling stuff in it. So
exactly.
That's how they monetize what they're doing. Right. So, yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Often, it's either selling their stuff or getting sponsors. I mean, it's one or the other or both, generally speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I forgot about the sponsor.
Unless you have such a big following, on whatever platform that you can do ad revenue, YouTube or whatever, that's great. But that also generally takes significant momentum.
Yeah.
So great, sure. Curtis. All right.
Thanks,
sounds like things are popping.
Yep.
Cool. Good. Well, guys, couple of things. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about or any questions about any of that?
No, that's all good. I think what we covered today was awesome.
Awesome. Rock and roll. Well, guys, I have two very, very special announcements for you here today. One is that I've decided that I'm going to take down the Work with Tellman private session at Name Your Own Price. I'm taking it down at midnight tonight, and I'm sweetening the deal with 5 amazing bonuses if you sign up for a private hypnosis session with me at Pay What It's Worth to You. You can go to workwithtellman.com and you can sign up for a private one-on-one 1-hour recorded Zoom hypnosis session with me. I actually have 3 scheduled sessions today because
awesome.
my calendar got backed up with this promotion. And I'm at midnight tonight, I'm taking down the offer that I've had up for the last several months for working with me at Name Your Own Price. So if you have been hemming and hawing, if you've been waiting, if you've been thinking about it, this is some good old fashioned New England urgency for you. So yeah, if you want to book a session, Name Your Own Price, I normally charge $1,000 a session. So if you want to name your own price, you can go ahead and do that right now on any topic you choose, though a lot of my clients are entrepreneurial. They're working on some aspect of money mindset. Yep. Though I have had weight loss clients recently. I've had a love attraction client recently. I just had a fear of flying client recently. And so there are some different issues that people want to address and work on. But if that sounds like something you'd like to do, a lot of people are overcoming procrastination, increasing productivity, improving self-worth and self-confidence, staying focused, following through, being consistent, moving in the direction of their goals, this kind of stuff. So if that sounds exciting to you, workwithtellman.com. It closes at midnight Eastern tonight. Awesome. So that's pretty rad. And the other thing is that we are actually giving away a free hypnosis session. And so I have one of my best-selling hypnosis sessions of all time is the Get Shit Done session. And it hypnotizes you to get shit done. Have you listened to the Get Shit Done session?
Yes, I have. Actually, we also did the Work with Tellman before too. That was an awesome session. I really enjoyed that.
Actually, we did do a private session. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, it was awesome. What I really enjoyed is that you asked me a bunch of questions before. So you get to know me a bit better, and then you're able to customize the hypnosis towards me, which I really found very powerful. And the recording is awesome that you get the recording from it, and then you can download as an MP3 on your phone, listen to anytime you need to, and it really helps reinforce whatever you want it to to get out of this session. Because the one time is fine, but to really make it solidify, I found I listened to 3 more times after that, and it really gave me that boost. As you can tell where I am now, I wanted more confidence, more direction in my life, and I'm currently doing that. So it does work. And
That's
I don't
awesome,
even know.
Curtis.
I didn't even know it was on. I didn't even know it was switched on. Do you know what I mean? It's just like subconsciously you're just doing these things, and it works for you. It's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
I definitely recommend that anybody out there who's listening to get on it for sure. And
Cool.
hey, you can't go wrong with asking your own price for sure.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. So that's workwithtellman.com, guys, if you want to sign up for a private session. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
perfect.
kind words, Curtis. That was cool.
You're welcome. It's good stuff.
Great.
Did you want to promote your school group too?
Yeah. If you guys, if you're not quite ready to sign up for a private session, you just want to dip your toe in the water a little bit. You're a little hesitant for some reason, but you want to get more shit done. You want to increase your productivity. You want to overcome procrastination, but you're afraid to talk to me. Then you can go to getshitdone.com. You can join right now, and you can get the Get Shit Done session right now in the community, in the classroom. Go to getshitdone.com. It's our school group. You can join. And when you join today, you get the Get Shit Done session, which I've been selling for years, selling for money. You get it for free today if you join our productivity community at getshitdone.com. So I would recommend that you go to work with Tellman. You sign up for a private session before they're gone forever. And you join getshitdone.com if you want to kick your life into high gear, move your business into high growth mode, start getting more done, feeling better about your life in every way, feeling better about yourself, completely transforming every aspect of your life, all because you met me. No, but seriously, we're gonna teach you how to access parts of your subconscious mind that you are capable of so much more than you realize.
Absolutely. Yep. Lots of potential.
I want to help you unlock it. I want to help you unlock some of the secret doors in your brain.
Perfect.
Right? Give you access to a little bit more of what you actually are capable of. So, Curtis, this is great.
Tellman,
Thanks for being a great co-host. I really appreciate it.
I do love being here every week.
I would, we need to do some challenges.
Yep.
We need to do some challenges.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's the name of the game.
Yep,
all right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Get some shit done.
That's, what time it is?
Get shit done time.
Time to get shit done. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.